Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Natalia Veervardhana. First, let's take a look at the headlines for tonight.
The President reiterated the need for a public service which diligently fulfills its professional obligations. Earth slip warnings for several areas in 3 districts. The SLTB special transport service on account of Deepavali festival. The Prime Minister says that Sri Lanka acts in close collaboration with the international community, including India. Foreign tourist arrivals exceed 1.8 million this year. The government receives praises for its effort to eradicate narcotics. Seaplane services to be conducted at Castley Reservoir. A Pakistani air attack on Afghanistan kills 8 persons, including 3 cricketers.
Now on to those and other stories. President Anurakumara Dissanayake says a nation requires a public service that maintains professionalism, competence, discipline and accountability across all sectors.
The President made these remarks while attending the award ceremony of President's Colours at the commissioning of cadet officers of the Sri Lankan Air Force as chief guests at a ceremony held this morning at Sri Lanka Air Force Academy in China Bay. Under the theme Safeguard the Sri Lankan Skies, No. 3 Maritime Squadron of the Sri Lankan Air Force was awarded President's Colours in recognition of the outstanding services, operational excellence and unwavering dedication to the protection and advancement of the motherland. The President emphasised that Sri Lankan Air Force, with its distinguished and honourable legacy, has consistently upheld its standards of professionalism. The commissioning of officer cadets from the 66th, 67th and 68th officer cadet courses in the 20th Lady Officer Cadet course of the Sri Lankan Air Force took place, marking their induction to active services to safeguard the skies and protect the nation's sovereignty with the participation of the President. Furthermore, the officers cadets from the 103rd Air Flying Courses received their flying badges at the ceremony.
The Sri Lanka Air Force.
President Anurakumara Dissanayake said at present they also understand the deep and complex links between narcotics, organised crimes and certain elements of politics and state mechanisms. This is not merely a matter of drug trafficking or isolated criminal networks. It is entwined with the political and institutional systems, some of which have been directly or indirectly contributed to this menace. This strategy is spreading across villages, affecting families and communities. This is why maritime surveillance has become essential in preventing the national catastrophe. The task entrusted to you is to carry out the operations with this precision to protect the security and prosperity of our motherland and its people. Moreover, during times of national emergencies, the people are being entrusted with irreversible responsibility. The President added he was aware of that during the recent tragedy in Allah, the timely intervention was recognized and appreciated across the country. These actions were the great significance of the entire nation valued the services. Therefore, the responsibility of providing aerial assistance during such emergencies rests within their hands, and they have full confidence that they will fulfill that duty efficiently and with compassion. Professionalism has become an essential across every field in the country. Unfortunately, the situation in many professions is far from ideal. The purpose of the profession should be uphold and protect its integrity, while in many instances it is being undermined from within. Every public institution carries a specific responsibility, and citizens have a rightful expectation regarding how those duties are to be performed. Public servants receive their salaries and benefits from the taxes paid by the people, yet they know that some have allowed the professional duties to be distorted and even directed against the public interest. As a result, professionalism that once defined the public service has, to a large extent, deteriorated. However, they can be said that with pride and confidence that Sri Lankan Air Force has steadfastly preserved its professional integrity and strength, standing as a model for all other sectors in the nation's public service. Therefore, every profession in the country requires a public service that embodies professionalism, expertise and discipline and responsibility associated with it. Accordingly, the responsibility entrusted to them is the highest professional standard. They have to be full confidence that they will perform the task diligently. They have been assigned a significant duty in their seniors and watching them closely, confidently that they will uphold that professionalism. As President, he said he too observes them with deep confidence and respect.
Earth slip warnings have been issued on 3 districts in the island. The Department of Meteorology forecast heavy rains accompanied with thunder in many parts of the country.
The report further points out of thunder and lightning at times of heavy rainfall in the central, north-central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva and northwestern provinces, as well as in the Ampara, Mana and Vaunia districts. In certain locations in the Sabaragamuwa, central, Uva, north-central and northwestern provinces, rainfall exceeding 100 mm is expected. The wind direction will be from the northwestern or from any direction which could not be specified. The wind speed would be around 20 to 30 km per hour. The 3 districts for which danger warnings issued are Kandy, Kegol and Matale. The Disaster Management Centre says earth slip warnings were issued in Udunura and Ududumbura in the Kandy district, Kegol, Bulatpuhupitiya and Yatyantuta in the Kegol district, and also Pallepola and Amangaga Korale in the Matale district. Senior scientist of the National Building Research Organisation, Dr. Vasantha Senadira, said that any dangerous situation may arise even during minor rainfall as a result of the soil in mountainous areas being saturated with water due to recent rainfall. He points out that therefore residents in the area should remain extremely vigilant. They should be especially watchful over the flow of mud and soil due to landslides. A single sluice gate was kept open in the Upper Kotmale Reservoir since last night. The torrential rainfall in the area has tremendously increased the water capacities in the St. Clair and Devon waterfalls. Heavy rainfall is also reporting from the Anuradhapura district. 6 sluice gates of the Rajangana Reservoir have been lifted by this morning, facilitating a flow of 5,132 cubic feet of water in a second to the Kala Oil. The Department of Irrigation requests the residents living in the low-lying areas of Kala Oil to remain vigilant of any threats of floods. A section of the Gavarammana irrigation canal of the Kande Ala scheme in Kappetipola, which is a farmer settlement, was collapsed due to thunder showers last evening. As a result of several low-lying paddy fields were inundated. Our correspondent says cultivations of vegetables including beans, carrots, cabbage, leeks, tomatoes and green chilies were totally destroyed by the floods. Water levels in the Kirindioya has also gone up due to the upper catchment areas of Kirindioya and Vellavaya receiving heavy rainfall. A warning has been issued by the Irrigation Department to residents in low-lying areas of Kirindioya to remain watchful. Water level in the Alikotahara Reservoir in Vellavaya has also increased due to thunder showers in the highlands. 3 sluice gates of the reservoir have remained open, 2 feet each. The excess water is being disposed into the Kirindioya. The Disaster Management Centre requests residents along Kirindioya to be careful of impending threats. Water level in the Daduroya has reached spill level due to heavy rains. Variapal Irrigation Engineer's Office says 4 out of the 8 sluice gates of the reservoir were opened this morning. 2 of them were lifted by 2 feet and remainder by 4 feet each. A volume of 8,200 cubic feet of water is being released in a second to the Daduroya. 50 houses were damaged due to a strong gale in Aulegama, Halmilava and Habagama in Variapola yesterday. Our correspondent says 3 persons sustained minor injuries and discontinuation of power has also reported. Our correspondent says cultivated lands on both sides of the Habaragalta Canal in Wakkadahinna, Valimada were destroyed due to the overflowing of waterway. Several houses were also reported to have been damaged.
The Sri Lankan Transport Board is implementing a special bus service for the benefit of the long-standing Deepavali festival. The special island-wide bus service is to be operated with effect from today until next Tuesday. The service is being implemented for Bodhiraja Mawatha in Bastian Mawatha terminals in Colombo. Accordingly, 57 additional buses are added to the regular service today. Measures are underway to deploy 75 additional buses tomorrow and further 73 buses the day after. Steps have also been taken to maintain maximum number of journeys through expressways. The 3 south services will be extended to the southern region through Markumbra service station and the Kadawatha terminals as well as Badulla and Monoragal districts. Several luxury buses have been deployed for Jaffna as well as passengers who are experiencing any problems regarding the bus service are to be obtained with the relevant information by the direct telephone numbers 0711 755 5555 and 071 058 000. Deputy General Manager of the STLTB, P.H. Kandasiri, said that services are being conducted in Hatton, Kandy, Muskelia, Navampitiya, Nuwara and Badulla and Bandarwala from Bodhiraja Mawatha bus stand. Buses leaving for Jaffna, Mana, Vaunia, Puttalam routes are being operated from Bastian Mawatha terminal. He further said that if it is found out the number of buses deployed are not adequate, it has been notified during the readiness to fulfill the emergency requirements from Colombo, Gampaha and Kaltara. The General Manager also requested the passengers to obtain a ticket from their journey. The National Transport Commission has also implemented a program to provide temporary licenses for the deployment of additional buses during the Deepavali festive season. Director General of the National Transport Commission, Nilan Miranda, said that provisional permits for bus transport have also been arranged. The hotline 1955 is open 24 hours of the day to provide information on passengers returning to Colombo from outstations on Monday and Tuesday through temporary permits.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that the government is ready to act in cooperation with the international community, including India, in the task of building a prosperous country with a forward vision on democracy where all being represented. The Premier has made these remarks delivering the keynote address at the NDTV World Summit 2025 in New Delhi.
3 decades ago, in the early 1990s, I was a student at Hindu College, a young student from Sri Lanka, navigating a world in flux. It was our first encounter with the concept of risk in life, in economics, in politics, and in identity. Returning now, several decades later, I see an India transformed, a confident, vibrant nation of 1.4 billion people charting its own path. India today stands among the fastest growing major economies in the world. Its digital revolution, green transition, and infrastructure initiatives are laying the foundations for Viksit Bharat, a vision of a developed and prosperous nation. India's journey offers valuable lessons for all developing countries, including my own. This spirit of progress and partnership was also evident during President Andhra Kumara Dissanayaka's state visit to India as his first overseas visit in 2024, and during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Sri Lanka in April this year. Reaffirming Sri Lanka's place in India's neighbourhood first policy and Mahasagar vision, the discussions highlighted practical, multidimensional cooperation, reflecting a shared focus on resilience, growth, and shared prosperity. The conferring of Sri Lanka's highest honour, the Mitra Vibhushana, on Prime Minister Modi symbolised the strength of the enduring friendship and partnership between our two nations and importantly, our peoples. On behalf of the people of Sri Lanka, I wish to express our deepest gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and most importantly to the Indian people for the assistance and sustained support extended to us during Sri Lanka's most severe economic crisis in 2022. This support is a lasting reminder that India's help at our hour of need is remembered and deeply valued by our people.
An anthropologist, as I started becoming a prime minister, who understands society better? Does an anthropologist understand society better, or politicians are smarter at understanding society?
See, the purpose of understanding something is also to transform it. So I think being an anthropologist and a politician, that gives me an added advantage. Not only do I get to understand the world better, but I can also play a part in transforming it. So, yeah.
All the knowledge of studies gets into actual transformation. My last question for you, we have a small gift for you as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
You know, a young Harini Amarasuriya, that's very, very young, but what would Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya like to tell a young Harini Amarasuriya? What do you think she would have thought of you if she saw you on the stage?
I think she would not have believed this, but this is what I would want to say to the young Harini there, to seize any opportunity that comes your way. Life is not a linear path. Unexpected things happen, and you have to take it. I think that's what risk is all about. That's what leadership is all about. So you take the risk and you go with it, and amazing things can happen.
So it's a token of appreciation from NDTV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
According to latest statistics of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, that by the 15th of this month, the number of tourist arrivals has surpassed the figure of 1.8 million. The latest data released by the SLTDA, a total of 75,657 tourists visited the island during the 15th day of this month. The country, India, continues to be the leading source market with nearly 400,000 tourist arrivals. Other key markets include United Kingdom, Russia, Germany and China, exceeding 100,000 tourists. A program to introduce traditional dancing methods is on the way to promote tourism in the island. The aim is to popularize the artistic traditions of upcountry and low-country dancing among locals and foreign tourists. As a part of this program, a dancing performance was presented to tourists at Colombo Fort Railway Station.
ඒක හාස්‍ය උපදවනවා විදේශකයන් ඉතාමත් ආදරය කරන නර්තනාංග තමයි. ඒක අයට තේරෙන්නේ මේකේ තියෙන මූණේ තියෙන ආ වූ අලංකාරය සහ විහිළු තහළු කරන ඒවා. ඒ වගේ සියලු දෙනාම අපි එක්කාසු කරගෙන අපි සබේ සංචාරකයන් නටවන ඒවා කරනවා.
Hika Fest tourist promotion program has gotten underway in Nargam Beach in Hikkaduwa yesterday. The program, conducted on joint collaboration with the Hikkaduwa Urban Council and institutions engaged in tourism industry, is to attract the attention of tourists arriving in Hikkaduwa during the upcoming tourist season. Deputy Minister Ratna Gamage was among the group of present at the opening ceremony.
The Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka has completed a water aerodrome licensing audit at the Castlereagh Reservoir today with the participation of inspectors of the Civil Aviation Services Authority. The research flight was conducted by the Cinnamon Airline Company. The company has utilized a Cessna 208 type aircraft for this purpose. The program is considered as one stage of the government's plan to develop the aviation and tourism industries by removing the prevailing obstructions regarding conducting of local flights to many reservoirs in the island. These impediments were in process due to security reasons. The new service enables tourists arriving at the Katunayake Airport to reach the Central Highlands and related tourist destinations with ease and within a short period. The Cinnamon Airline currently maintains flights to 10 destinations. This is the only airline company engaged in water-based aviation services in Sri Lanka. A group including chairman of the Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Authority was present at the occasion of launching the research flight. Chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority, Sunil Jayaratne, said that 7 out of the 22 reservoirs in the island are in operational status for conducting as water aerodromes. These resources are being utilized for the development of the tourism industry, aligned with the government policies. A picturesque experience is being extended to tourists arriving at the Katunayake airport and visit those reservoir-based aerodromes to make their journey more joyful and easy. The Civil Aviation Authority hopes to extend permits for other lakes as well.
The exceptional efforts of the present government to eliminate the scourge of narcotics from the country has been subjected to extreme commendations of the numerous sections of society, including intellectuals. They point out that programs should be definitely implemented in the interest of a healthy future generation. President Anurukumar Dissanayake has presided over the maiden National Steering Council titled Ratamakata with the aim of overcoming the drug menace. The national program is being implemented to overcome the threat of poisonous narcotics, which extends to national calamity. The narcotics threat has spread throughout the island, especially threatening the younger generation with deadly repercussions. The government is in process of apprehending bulk quantities of narcotics and also arresting the henchmen and their leaders connected to the narcotic network. One of the government's main targets is to prevent the escalation of narcotic-related activities in the country. The National Steering Committee, named the Ratamakata, has been set up to fulfill the objective expeditiously. The attention has been focused mainly on the meeting regarding the issues of rehabilitation of drug addicts, receiving people's support to overcome the narcotic threat and to seek closer cooperation of people and organizations. In outlining the primary purposes of the establishment of the council, President Anurukumar Dissanayake emphasized the significance of the stress danger that drug abuse presents to the country, noting that it has developed into a substantial social and economic crisis. Niluka Kadrugamua presented the credentials to the ambassador of the Sri Lanka to the Republic of Turkey. Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Republic of Turkey, Niluka Kadrugamua, presented his letter of credence to President of the Republic of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, as a formal ceremony held in the presidential complex in Ankara on the 16th of the month. President Erdogan, extending a warm welcome to Ambassador, conveyed his best wishes to the successful tenure and expressed confidence that the new ambassador will further strengthen the long-standing friendship between Sri Lanka and Turkey. The Turkish president also conveyed his warm greetings to President Anurukumar Dissanayake.
At least 3 Afghan domestic cricketers were among 8 people killed in a Pakistani airstrike in Afghanistan's Paktika province yesterday, according to the Afghanistan Cricket Board. The attack took place in the Urgan district near the Pakistan border, where the players had gathered after returning from a friendly cricket match in the provincial capital Sharana. The Afghanistan Cricket Board intended the victims as Kabir, Shibgatullah and Harun, all domestic-level cricketers from Urgan. The board said 5 other civilians were also killed, while several others sustained injuries. Afghanistan's T20 captain Rashid Khan condemned the airstrikes, calling them immoral and barbaric and a grave violation of human rights. He said the tragedy claimed the lives of women, children and aspiring young cricketers who dreamed of representing their nation on the world stage. Other Afghan players, including Mohammad Nabi and Fazal Farooqi, also voiced outrage, describing the killings as an unforgivable crime against civilians and the country's sporting community. According to reports, the airstrike was part of a series of cross-border operations carried out by Pakistani forces amid rising tensions between the two countries. The bombing came despite a 48-hour ceasefire agreement that had been brokered earlier in the week following days of heavy fighting along the Durand Line.
Minister Sunil Handunetti reiterated the need to create an individual with a broad outlook rather than someone who concentrates on merely passing examinations through the current education system. He was expressing these views while addressing a ceremony at Poromba Junior School in Akurasa. An event was held in connection with the awarding of prizes to students who had passed the scholarship examinations and launching of newly installed Western music band of the school. Felicitation of teachers who had committed themselves to achieve the best results at scholarship examination also took place. Minister K.D. Lal Kantha presided over the presentation of certificates to students who successfully completed the agricultural diploma of the Department of Agriculture in Polgolla Kandy recently. A national campaign for promotion of good conduct in all stages of life under the theme Maintaining Contacts for Good Living was organized by the Communication Physicians Association was inaugurated in Colombo yesterday. The first session of the Sri Lanka's 5th Trade Policy Review was successfully conducted in Geneva, Switzerland yesterday. The session was held with the participation of a group of members of the WTO who have identified the progress, reforms and objectives in Sri Lanka. The country was presented in the organization by Minister Vasant Samarasinghe. The minister emphasized on simplifying taxes in line with the island's extensive development targets, provision of trade facilities and investment transparency and export diversification. The minister also expressed views on the agenda of Sri Lanka's reconstruction.
And now more local news items in brief. A motor car and cab clashed near the 7th kilometre milepost on the Kapatigollava-Padaviya main road has resulted in the death of one person and grievous injuries to 3 others last evening. Our correspondent says that the deceased was a 47-year-old teacher of Medavachiya. Presentation of financial aid rights to selected low-income families in the Varakapola Divisional Secretariat Division has taken place at the Secretariat Auditorium recently. Minister Upali Pannila has presided over the event. A commemoration program in connection with the 2025 Mental Health Day was held at the Sri Lanka Gynecology and Obstetrician Association Auditorium yesterday. Unveiling of a mobile phone software titled Nirogi, which is able to create a self-evaluation on good mental health conduct on society, has also taken place. 18 persons who have arrived in Nuwara to spend the long weekend with numerous types of narcotics have been arrested today by the Nuwara police. The police says they were attending a party of Facebook friends. The arrested included youth between the ages of 18 and 20 years from numerous parts of the island, including Gampa and Colombo. Funeral of former Test cricketer Jayananda Varnavira has taken place at the Mahayava General Cemetery in Kandy this afternoon. The late cricketer was ailing for some time.
Many parts of the country is experiencing heavy rains and the threat of flash floods are looming. Experts in disaster mitigation had pointed out that human activities directly cause flash floods and that occur with heavy showers. They expressed that it is the very people living in these relevant areas that can play a major role in controlling such flood situations.
This year it has been predicted that there will be more excessive rain than usual, and most of the areas what we experience is this water being logged and our gardens, our houses and our roads being inundated. When we think about this inundation, it's mostly due to water not being properly drained. It has been blocked. Another reason is waste. What we are generating, our waste being dumped to these drains and canals. In order to avoid this sort of waterlogging situation, before the rainy season, what we could do is take little time out to clean our canals, reduce our waste properly without putting it to the drainage canals and roadsides. Situations can be very dangerous to human lives as well. So in order to avoid such situation, what you can do, if you see any uncovered drains in your area, when it's inundated, you won't be able to see whether it's covered or not. So during this period, if you identify any place where the drains are being uncovered, you can inform the authorities accordingly to take measures.
Sinhala Medium Senior Division competition of the All Ceylon Debating Championship Tournament, the Speaker 2025, organised by the National Television through the approval of the Ministry of Education, has commenced at the Thurston College premises in Colombo today. The event has been organised in parallel to the 9th Media Summit of the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union on climate action and disaster prevention. 134 orators selected via online took part in today's event. 10 competitors are to be shortlisted for the finals. In even today's competition, speakers were scheduled to face 7 rounds. The model has been devised in line with the latest methodologies and rules and regulations. The Sinhala Medium Junior competitions are to be scheduled to be taken place at Sujata Girls' School in Colombo tomorrow. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break. Now on to foreign news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky failed to obtain a Tomahawk missiles for the strikes on Russia from a meeting with Donald Trump on Friday.
Whereas the US President, after later calling for both sides to cease fighting and accept current battle lines. Zelensky had traveled to Washington hoping to receive the long-range cruise missiles, which he believes could deliver a decisive blow to the Kremlin's war economy by enabling targeted strikes on oil and energy facilities deep inside Russia. However, during opening remarks at a White House working lunch, Trump expressed hopes to resolve the war without thinking about Tomahawks, adding that the weapon is one America needs. And Zelensky appeared to come away empty-handed, describing the meeting as productive, but declining to comment further on Tomahawks because the US doesn't want escalation.
Now to sports news. Sri Lanka has beaten the very highly respected Uzbekistan team in the first match of the second stage of the Asian 7-a-side rugby tournament. The tournament is being conducted at the racecourse grounds with the participation of 12 men's and 12 women's teams. The Sri Lankan men's team is competing in the category C. The team has won a match against Uzbekistan by 26-14. The winning points came in the form of 3 goals and a try. The tournament ends tomorrow. The Sri Lankan Rugby Union has allowed spectators to watch the tournament free of charge. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.